Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Benjamin Breaker Vaani, and I am back to bring you another replay that I took from the Gfinity Masters for SC2 that took place in spring, not more than a week ago actually. Now enough about that, I'm going to go ahead and take you into the intro of both of our players. The 6 o'clock position spawning as our blue Protoss, it's going to be Terminator. And at the 12 o'clock position spawning as our red Zerg, it's going to be the Dong. The Jaedong. Yes, I did take that from the Twitch chat that we all see those memes time and again. The name Dong. The name's Dong. Jaedong. But at the same time, the reason why I took this replay is because obviously I knew that someone would go through a Google search for VODs of these games, and I guess now this is the time where I ask you to kindly leave some objective feedback comments to this cast. I'm doing everything that I can to get better, and I'm doing it for myself, not for you guys. What I want to know is, from an objective perspective, what makes the cast better? What do you guys want to hear from a caster? Things of that nature. I'm not the best analyst. Let's just put it that way. My specialty is play-by-play, as you guys will hear in the near future. The reason why I'm doing this is because I met a woman who loves esports just as much as I do. And I want to take care of her as best as I can. Enough about that. As the game develops, we do actually have a gateway first coming out from Terminator. Not to be entirely unexpected. This is one of those kind of goofy maps that only started cropping up once we had Heart of the Swarm released. And what I mean by goofy is, of course, we have the natural, the potential natural, actually out here, where a Protoss can easily and safely, much more safely take it than just about any other expo that was available to him or her in the Wings of Liberty days. Now, the one move that I can respect and give props to Jaedong for doing is that he's going for his natural right here. Now, why on earth would you say, why are you giving Jaedong props for this? Well, it's very simple. If he can secure this area, just spread creep, get everything out there, making sure that his opponent can't pull any sneak attacks on him or anything like that, then that makes this expo easier to take later on in the game. That means that if this one goes up and is perfectly safe and sound, he's good to go. But there's a big backfire. There's a potential for the backfire. And the backfire is, what happens if his opponent is moving out for a forward gateway pressure and force fields off this ramp? What happens if he can't get out here and save this expo, where it's most likely going to be already fully saturated? He's going to lose an entire mineral field worth of drones in that sort of, I guess you could say, case study scenario, if you will. Worst case scenario. He does get here. He does see, of course, that it is going to be a gateway first, followed by a cybernetics core, not a forge or anything silly like that. He was actually sending his overlord out to the natural to make sure that there wasn't any cannons going out just in case. And I love the way he just smoothly takes this scout. Alright, so here we go. The Lings actually dive into the main. That's not exactly a big loss, considering this is a gateway opener. In some ways it might be, in some ways it might not be. But obviously Terminator cannot just easily take his tech up with these Lings in his main. He's going to have to wait until those Lings are gone to actually make it worth his time. So really they are being ultra annoying, but it looks like they're going to make the exit. Or are they? Are they going to try and get a drone? Are they going to get it? Are they going to get it? He's playing Ring Around the Assimilator right now. Ooh! That's one for the Dong's time. Stalker is now out. Should be able to chase down the Slowlings regardless. And it is gone. Stargate Tech Up has now been made. And that's a move I can respect. We're talking about Oracles coming out into the game. Potentially Phoenixes, Void Rays, anything else to follow up. Whatever else have you. But I kind of like the idea of going with an Oracle opener above all else. I like... Ooh, this is pretty good. I like this too. He's moving out with a Stalker and a Zealot. Just a Stalker and a Zealot for the time being. He doesn't have the resources or the infrastructure to make a big, nasty, massive push that's going to kill his opponent anytime soon. That's not his plan. What he is going to do is he's going to slow the economy just a little bit, force a few units out, mostly Zerglings. But Queens and Weaklings. Yes, Zerglings without upgrades. Any upgrades at all. Weaklings will come in here and try and rustle some jimmies. Or excuse me, rather deal with the Stalker and the Zealots Ooh, that's not good. 2 drones. Oh man, it's some delayed mining time. That's not good for this dong. 3 drones. Is it gonna be 4? Oh, just a little bit short of 4. So, looking objectively at this, we saw Jaedong expend 6 larvae, 7 larvae on Zerglings. And he lost a few drones for that. I mean, there's worse, obviously. But it looks like it's not going to be... No, it's not going to be an Oracle at all coming from Jaedong. I can appreciate... Or, excuse me, it's not going to be an Oracle at all coming from Terminator. I can appreciate this move. I really can. I think that this move... It's just basically going to be to control the skies for the time being. It's going to mean shutting down overlords, controlling the map, keeping his opponent blind off of creep, which at this point in the game is going to be very limited. Now, as the game progresses, we're going to see our players making their way to tier 2 tech, which for Jaedong would mean whatever's available to him with the lair. He's got an evolution chamber at the natural. I love the move that we have Terminator making happen here. He's like, I've only got 3 phoenixes. It takes 4 to kill a queen with a single graviton beam, if you will. And look at this beautiful drone harass that's happening. Excuse me, mineral line harass rather. And now there's 4 phoenixes here, which means, oh wait a minute, Jaedong's going for his, oh boy, that's signature-ish build. That's a lair that wasn't spotted. Right now, there's no Ling speed coming out. Our Protoss must know that there's something not right here. With the Hydralisk Den coming in here, +1 missile attacks, Metabolic Boost is just about to finish up, and that's a whole lot of gas. Well, I wouldn't say a whole lot of gas, but a very decent amount of gas that's about to be committed to Hydras. And now what Terminator can do to slow this down is do whatever he can to force his opponent to spend resources on things that he wouldn't ordinarily need unless he already lost them, i.e. overlords, drones, things of that nature. But the speedlings are making their move. Ooh, force fields going down. Surface area not that amazing right now for our Zerg Jaedong. So these are a bunch of lings that are just coming in here and not doing a whole lot of damage. Now the Phoenixes are continuing their reign of terror in the main. This is one of the unfortunate consequences of not doing what you can to deal with them ASAP. Or rather, not being able to deal with them ASAP. But it looks like maybe there will be 1 or 2... Whoa. First time, but... I want to check this out real quick. How many workers have been killed thus far? 13 for Terminator. Not bad for a guy who went... You know, I mean... Let's talk about this from an objective perspective. His opponent had 3 bases safely put up, and I can appreciate this move now to go for Phoenixes, and it's so brilliant to do, because what else can you do to harass your opponent when that one base, that most vulnerable base, is actually not all that vulnerable because it's right next to your main. The one that's got, you know, the least defenses going up at it once it's finished at about after it's gotten started after the 4 minute and 30-second mark. Alright. Hydra's coming in here. Drone trying to make that move for the 4th. I'm not sure if Terminator caught on to that. And now here we are. Overseer going into the main. Gonna try and get a read into what's happening here. But now it's triple Stargate coming in. That's what he's gonna read into. And, uh-oh. He's going for Swarm Host versus this. Well, the question is, what does he do at this stage? That's a whole lot of Phoenixes. That's more than enough to deal with the amount of Hydras that's out on the map right now, which is 13. If he picks them up 1 at a time, then we see basically the same results that we see 10 Phoenixes versus 15 Marines. There has to be a lot of static defenses going down right now. Perhaps Queens would help out a little bit more in this situation. In fact, he's doing what he can to make a few more at this moment. He's getting Burrow, which will help him. But I feel like this 4th base is virtually forfeit. Just a handful of gateway units on the ground. Most of the offensive force here is Phoenixes. Swarmhosts are going to try and make the defense, but I feel like, oh boy, here come the Phoenixes. They're going to pick up those Hydras 1 at a time. It's looking amazing. This is absolute carnage at its finest for Terminator. Absolute carnage. The 4th base, I don't think that was canceled. I think it was destroyed. And now Terminator's getting away with a free retreat here. He doesn't even have to expend the recall. He's going to save energy on that mothership core because he doesn't know if he's going to need it or not for Nexus cannons, time warps, things of that nature. Now Hydras are going down 1 at a time. I love this. I love this. As much as I play Zerg, and Zerg is my main race, this is absolutely one of the biggest ways to hurt them. Just keeping their army supply low. How many Hydras have been lost since the beginning of this game? 24 Hydras. Now, obviously, if he had 24 fighting versus this number of Phoenixes at this moment, that would be amazing. But what he's doing right now, like, there's 10 of them in production. If we see that none of them are alive after they finish their production, if you will, after they finish being produced, then we've seen these Phoenixes do their job. This is more than worth the triple Stargate investment at this point. Fourth base is going to be a gold coming from Terminator behind this as well. And guess what? There's some drop harass going down in the background. That's the even bigger part about this. The Hydras getting taken out of the fight reduces the amount of defenses to deal with warp-ins via warp prisms. And Jaedong realizes the vanity of his situation, so he simply decides to tap out. GG was called. I want to go back and check something real quick. One moment. Okay, he did have his fourth base in production at that moment, but I mean, he realized ultimately it was too vain to go ahead and check. Again, please leave me some feedback in the comments below. I will read them as long as they are legitimate in nature, as long as they are warranted. But if it's nothing but slander, well, goodbye.